Hello, my name's Darlene Felsch. I'm a certified practicing accountant and an accounting tutor. This is part of a video series I've created for Year 11 and 12 students to fast track them through their studies in just 10 weeks. I hope you enjoy the program. Purchase of a car with cash. This lesson will show you an example of how debits and credits work. Each example will build on the knowledge gained in the previous example. Example 1. Buying your first car for $5,000 with cash you have saved up. You have been working and saving hard and you have saved up $5,000 in your bank account. How would we record the $5,000 in an accounting system? This example shows that you have $5,000 in your bank account. This is therefore recorded as $5,000 on the debit side of the T account. Okay, let's go and buy your first car. How would this be recorded in the accounting system? When you're first learning about debits and credits, it helps to think about the bank or the money side of the transaction first. What is happening on the bank or the money side of things? This shows that we have $5,000 of savings in our bank account. When you take the cash out of the bank, it's recorded in the credit or outside of the bank account. Now there is no more money left in the bank account. This means that the closing balance in our bank account is now zero. We also need to record the fact that we now have a car. While the cash has gone out of our bank account, the car we bought has come into our possession. It's in our driveway or in our garage. So it's recorded on the debit or the in side of the car T account. Instead of having money in our possession, we now have a car in our possession. If we look at these two accounting entries combined, you can see there is one debit in and one credit out. Theory. It can be helpful to think of debits being in and credits being out. For every transaction, there are at least two entries in the accounts, one debit and one credit. To work out the debits and credits, look at the money side of the entry first. The other entry will always be the opposite. Total debits and total credits always balance. Purchase of a car using a car loan. Now we'll begin building on what we have just learnt. How would the accounting entries change if we took out a car loan instead of paying our own cash for it? We treat this in an almost identical way. Remember to ask yourself, what's happening on the money side of the transaction? The money now doesn't involve a bank account. Instead, it involves a car loan account. But this still involves money. On the money side of the entry, money is still going out. That is, money is not going out immediately, but it will be going out over time while you're making the loan repayments. This side of the entry is shown as a credit or an out of the money account, in this case the car loan account, in exactly the same way as we recorded the cash in the credit or the out side of the bank account above. Following what we learned earlier, number 1, there are at least two accounting entries recorded for every transaction. Number 2, that once you know how to record the money side of the account, that is a credit to the car loan account, the other entry will always be opposite. And number 3, you can see that the opposite entry is a debit or an in to the car account. Notice that the accounting entries in the car account are identical regardless of how you pay for the car. A car is still coming in to our possession, so it is recorded on the debit or the in side of the car account. When we look at the combined business accounts, you can see that once again there is at least 2 entries for every transaction, 1 debit or in and 1 credit or out. The total debits and the total credits always balance. Purchase of a car partly on cash and partly on a car loan. Building on what we've learned so far, let's say you still had $5,000 saved up in your bank account, but you didn't want to use all of your savings to buy the car. You wanted to buy the car partly with cash and partly with a car loan. Let's say that you pay $1,000 cash and take out a car loan for the balance of $4,000. Number 1. First, what is happening on the money side of the transaction? Number 2, record the $1,000 of cash in the credit or the out side of the bank account. Number 3, then record the other money entry. Although you do not have to pay the car loan off immediately, you are still committed to paying it off over time. So cash will still be going out. So this is also recorded as a credit or out. And number 4, as in the previous example, the accounting entry in the car account has not changed. You still have a car valued at $5,000 coming in to your possession. So you still record a debit or an in to the car account. If we were to combine the accounts, they would look like this. The 2 money entries are on the credit or the out side of the T account. Money is going out. The purchase of the car entry is on the debit or the in side of the T account. A car is coming in. Theory. There is at least 2 accounting entries for each transaction. In this example, there are 3 entries. The total of the debits and the total of the credits must always equal. It is helpful to think about the money side of the entry first. Once you have recorded the money side of the entry, the other entry will always be opposite. The correct name for the financial report that shows the total debits and total credits of our accounts is a balance sheet. The total of all the debits will always equal the total of all the credits. We will learn more about the balance sheet in another week when we begin to look at the financial reports of a business. That's the end of the lesson for today. I hope that you've enjoyed the lesson. We'll see you next time. Bye.